Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Daily Downshift. My name's Nestor and today we're doing another DIY project on the BMW M2. Today, nothing too serious, nothing too crazy in terms of cosmetics or performance. This is actually something that I recommend a lot of G87 owners do because as you know, this car is very boxy and aggressive, but there's a downside to that. Let me show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. As you all know, the front end on this car is extremely exposed. I mean, it is kind of crazy that they didn't put some sort of mesh here. It's very barely visible, but you guys can see all sorts of little marks and scuffs on my radiator, and I've only had this car for about 2,000 kilometers. It's already getting destroyed by rock chips, and honestly, I cannot imagine what this would look like at 10, 20, 30,000 kilometers, especially after some track use. So first thing we're going to be doing is protecting this front end and putting a massive grille on the front. And secondly, another thing about this car that absolutely sucks, these side skirts stick out so much, and as you all know, these hips in the back are massive, and so all the rocks that get kicked up from the tires just destroy all the paint on these side skirts, and this area right here gets absolutely smoked. It's probably hard to tell in these lighting conditions, but I have all sorts of grime and scratches on these side skirts. A lot of people will probably just tell me, oh dude, why don't you get a PPF? Well, PPF costs like $6,000. Now, I don't know about you guys, but personally, I would never PPF a car that's under $100,000. To me, that just doesn't really make sense unless it's going to be a car that you're going to keep basically forever. This is more of like a project car that I'm having fun with. I want to explore its limits, but do I see myself keeping this car for 10 years? Probably not. Now, if this was the M2 CS or the CSL, whatever they're going to come out with in the future, then yes, I would PPF that car. But personally, for a base M2, I just don't really see the need. So let's take a look at the products that we're using today. Alrighty, the first company we have is Radiator Grill Store. A big shout out to them. Their link will be in the description if you want to purchase this product yourself. This is going to cover the entire front end, and it might be a little bit of a sketchy install because we are using zip ties, but I think it's going to work perfectly well with just 4 zip ties, and this should look super OEM. Now, we did work with this company once before, and that was on the Corvette C8 back in 2020. This is our second rodeo with this company. Big shout out to them. Again, website will be in the description. We're going to do this install first on the front, and I think it's going to look really, really good. And the second product we have here from Tommy L Garage. Some of you may know him from YouTube. He does a lot of DIY stuff, especially on YouTube. Great channel, check him out. And if you guys are interested in these basically mud flaps that are pretty damn cheap, and honestly make a big difference to the damage you're going to put on the sides of your car, highly recommend this stuff. Link is in the description to all this as well. Now, the great thing about both these products is that they're basically handmade in the USA. So you're supporting local small businesses. I think that's a win-win. So this smaller one is going to go on the front, right behind the tire. And then this wider one right here is going to obviously go on the backhand side. So it's gonna look awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. As always, we're working with our skill products today. We got our impact, we got our drill, and of course we got the floodlight, which will help us with the install. Okay, so let's grab our zip ties and the front. I'm gonna get something to sit on, and then we're gonna try jimmying it in here, and we're gonna zip tie onto these 2 black pillars. The really nice thing about these being gloss black is the fact that the zip ties are also gloss black, so this is going to be completely unnoticeable, and obviously we're gonna cut off any extra zip tie as well. It'll look beautiful. I don't know why guys, but I have a funny feeling that this is going to make the front end look better. A lot of people complain that this whole area here is just too wide open, and this is going to do a good job of kind of breaking it up. So obviously just put it in on a little bit of an angle like this, fish it through, and make sure to have this flat bottom part on the bottom that does not belong on the top. All right, and just like that, we have it sitting in there now. Let's grab our zip ties, and this is where the fun starts. So we have ourselves a nice little 90 degree and another 90 degree to give us a nice little 180. Let's go ahead and fish this over here. All right, there's one. Yeah, that actually works out a little easier than I thought it would. Okay, that definitely works. Oh, it's starting to shape up, guys. Look at that. It is starting to shape up, and I really like this. Wow. And I'll check in with you guys in a second here. This is coming together a lot better than I thought it would, guys. We have these two here. Obviously, it's not gonna look like this. I'm gonna cut these so that there's nothing just protruding, and it's just gonna be this small little line. We're gonna put one all the way at the top on both sides, and that should be more than enough to hold this thing in place and make sure it doesn't move anywhere once the fit is perfect. Okay, we fished that around perfectly. Let's go ahead and tighten that zip tie, and we're gonna put it towards the middle, just like we did with all the others. Oh, perfect. Guys, I am so happy with this. You know, I was a little worried because I'm basically the guy who's prototyping this. I worked with the owner to get the measurements right and everything like that, and I was kind of worried. I was hoping that the measurements would be perfect, and honestly, this is as good as it's going to get. All right, there's the second one, and the last one too. So let's tighten this up. Easy. All right, guys, so there it is. Let's go ahead and snip these off, and I'll give you guys a look at the final finished product and exactly kind of where it sits. Very careful. I don't want to snip this gloss black. There's one little piece off. Tighten these as much as we can as well. We don't want this grill moving anywhere at all. Okay, here we go. All right. Wow. Wow, 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 guys. I am actually so impressed. This is kind of the dead-on shot that I'm going to show you. And check that out. I mean, that looks pretty damn good. Check out the edges. That is a proper finish. And even from here, you can barely see the zip ties. Now, if you're obviously standing back even further, that's just such a beautiful finish, and it's going to give us so much more protection for that bottom radiator. All right, guys, so if you do want to pick up the radiator, you can go ahead and click the link in the description for your G87. It fits pretty damn good, and yeah, it's going to give you some nice protection that I think this car should have probably had from factory, so shame on BMW for not putting some sort of radiator grill guard there. Alrighty, guys, for the next thing that we're going to install, go ahead and turn your tire to the side, whichever side you're working on, of course. And we're gonna have to take out these two rivets right here. A pry tool, a flathead screwdriver, anything to kind of just rip these out is going to be your best friend. Okay, that's one out. Alrighty, so those two are out. We have our mud flap here, our guard. We have ourselves the two rivets and one of the screws that they provide. The screw is actually going to go into the bottom one, and you're just going to drill into this this liner essentially. There's nothing on the other side, so it's just going to be held by a liner. And then the two rivets are going to go in the pre-existing holes, so we're not doing anything too crazy here. So let's go ahead and pop the rivets in first. That's going to go all the way through. We're going to put the bottom one in. Make sure this goes into the correct hole. And now that these are in, all we have to do is just gently mallet in these two pins. Let me grab my mallet. Nice, that's in. Second one's gonna go in right here. Boom. All we need to put is this tiny little screw in. Let's get our drill bit here. And we are good to drill. Nice tight fit. And just like that, this thing is not going anywhere, ladies and gents. I mean, just look how crazy this all looks here. I'm gonna zoom in for you guys. Hopefully you can see that, but yeah, it's just a lot of dirt that gets built up on the sides of this car. It's kind of wild, so hopefully this helps out quite a bit, especially on the track. All we did, guys, is we took off these 10 millimeters. I forgot to record that for whatever reason, but yeah, just take out these two 10s. We're gonna reuse this top one, and then for the bottom one, we have a supplied screw that we're gonna use to get in there because these are sadly not long enough. They're just too short. Okay, so we're gonna start on the bottom one here, and all we're gonna do is we're gonna put this through the hole. We're gonna line this up. You guys are not gonna be able to see this, but trust me, it's quite easy. Nothing too difficult here about it. Okay, as you can see, it kind of bends it in, which is perfect. That's gonna hold it in really nice and tight. And we're gonna drill this back in. Obviously, make sure you're nice and lined up first. Okay, just twist that through. That's good. Lined up into the hole. Let's just drill it in now. Okay, and using an impact gun, Definitely not a great idea. We just took off some of the plastic. Everything's actually not too bad. We didn't break the most important part, which is actually what's going to shield the bottom here. So even though we kind of broke it and we did that wrong, it is what it is. We're still going to utilize it just like that. It's fine. Definitely don't use an impact, guys. I'd probably recommend actually doing that by hand, but I wanted to use the power tools, guys. What can I say? Alrighty, so wheel is back on. We lowered the car and we're basically good for the track on Saturday, guys. I'm so excited to finally be protected, and it should limit a lot of the debris that we have on the side skirts. All right, let's give this car some juice. Turn the wheel back to normal. Alrighty, so this is kind of what it looks like from the back, guys. As you can see, looks really good from the back, actually. Wow. And then the other side, this is the one that we broke. Looks a little funky, but honestly, it's not too bad. Worst case, I'll just get a replacement sent out and we'll fix it off camera. The two fronts, as you can see, there's one of them. That's a good amount of protection. Boom. There it is. Yeah, that should give us a lot of side skirt protection, which I'm definitely gonna need on the track. And finally, the radiator grill from radiatorgrillstore.com. This car is starting to come together, ladies and gents. The only two things that we need to do like immediately right after the track day are the KW springs and of course the signature wheels. That is it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, smash that like button, subscribe for more daily content on the G87, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.